Let's see what's happening in the collective energy this week. As always, I'll do this as 3 parts. First part will be the collective energy. Second part will be the world stage and what this could mean for predictively coming up for the week ahead. And the third stage will be the personal reading and how to best navigate the incoming energies or make the best use of them. Let's get into today's reading. So in last week's collective reading, the card of exposure came out, or toxins or exposure card came out straight away. And the Spirit had told me to read the messages as they were on the cards. I thought it might have been pandemic, but I said don't panic, and I was trying not to allude to any kind of panic. So today on the news, before I'm beginning this, there's been something going on with the Pentagon and a shelter in place. I think it's fine now, everything's okay, but there was risk of toxic exposure for Pentagon. So I think that could have been it. So that may be the end of that prediction. So there may not be any pandemic or anything to worry about. I did say don't panic. But yeah, I think that's already happened. So I'm going to take, this is reminding me to do the astrology for today. They want me to take a look at what's going on with the astrology. So I'm going to, let's start with the collective energy. Touching on the astrology first, because the cards came out and said I really need to take a look at what's going on in the astrology this week, because it's going to be affecting the collective energy. Now what I'm noticing is we have a direct opposition between Pluto in Aquarius sitting exactly across from Venus in Leo, forming an opposition. But then we also have this Venus forming a square energy. Let me have a look. Sorry, it's trining. It's trining. Let me have a look. I'm reading the chart upside down. Okay, I've just had to turn it around because I was trying to read it upside down. So what we have going on here is the exact opposition of Venus in Leo forming an exact opposition 4 degrees and 5 degrees with the Pluto over in Aquarius. Pluto was all about shake-ups, big transformations. It's like the Tower card, the Tower moment. And I wonder if I saw the Tower card come up in the spread for this week. Now, it is the dismantling of old power systems. Pluto's an outer planet, so it brings great changes to generations moving forward. It's moving into the next stage of, and it's been there for a little bit so far. It'll be there for 20 years in total, and it's working its way to dissolve our outdated power systems, structures, very prominent for what's going on with Iran. So, but then we see across from it forming an opposition, which is like a tug-of-war energy trying to make these things work together, is Venus representing harmony and balance. So trying to get harmony and balance between countries or outdated power structures or power systems. So we'll see if that comes up in today's reading. We also have then the Venus in Leo, which represents self-expression, it represents love, it represents beauty, it represents balance and harmony, of course. And we're talking collectively. It is forming a trine to Neptune. Neptune wants to dissolve dissolve, because it's also an outer planet that wants to make changes for generations moving forward. It stays in its sign for 14 years. So and they're all recently moved in. So we've got 5 degrees and 4 degrees. So they're very new in their new home. So they're working on new systems moving forward. Now it's also I'm getting here that it's trying to release, and I'm picking up this message coming through. It's trying to gently, Neptune's gentle, release our attachment to certain things in order for the new things to come forward. And I'm picking up AI here. AI is also represented by Aquarius. Aquarius is very forward thinking, and we've got Pluto coming in to dismantle old power systems or old structures, and I'm pertaining to, is what I'm hearing, AI moving forward. So, and then we've got this energy of Pluto trying to bring in the balance for the collective energy of integrating AI, new technologies moving forward. Now, I'm not saying one way or another this is a good thing or a bad thing. I know it definitely has environmental impacts with the data centers, but I feel like the Neptune is coming in to gently help us release attachments to the old ways. Interesting. And I think that's what they're bringing my attention to in this astrology chart. So we also have a very heavy stellium. Well, it's not heavy, it's 3 planets stellium in Cancer. Now we have Mercury, Moon, and Jupiter. Jupiter wants to expand things. Moon is your emotional energy. Moon rules Cancer, and Cancer is all about protecting certain energy. It's mother energy, it's family energy, it's protecting what's yours. It's very interesting. So protecting boundaries as well, I'm picking up. And I think that's to do with what's going on in the collective. But the biggest thing I think that they're trying to show me is why they wanted me to pick up the astrology chart today, is because they want to bring the attention through to what's going on with the tug of war between Venus and Pluto, trying to bring us into harmony and balance about moving forward into the future, dismantling old power systems. Now, I would have thought that would have meant things like Iran or leadership, or the fighting between what's going on with Iran and the US, but I think it's more than that. I think it's integrating AI technology or new technologies moving forward, because Pluto definitely is represented by new technologies. So is Uranus. Uranus is an outer planet that's newly in its home. They're over there in Gemini, which also represents new communications, new way to communicate, new types of social media, so changes to social media, those kind of things. It's all happening. It's happening in the planets, but I think it's happening in the collective, and that's what they wanted me to talk about. But a gentle releasing of nostalgia towards the old ways, so we can balance and harmonize whatever's coming into the future. Interesting. So let's take a look at the reading now and see what the cards want to say about the collective energy moving for the week ahead, moving forward from the 15th. Now that chart I pulled up from midweek of next week. I'm reading Friday the 12th. So let's take a look at, there you go, there's the AI card on the table. Transitional shifts or changes. So interesting that this is the same as the astrology. Now, turbulence is showing there's upheaval and chaos in the collective energy. And I think that can be a kind of tower moment, like upheaval, chaos, drama. That's all very towerish energy. If this was a prediction, I would say it's to do with cyclones or air activity or turbulent winds, but because this is a collective, I'm seeing it as turbulence or upheaval within the collective energy. And I feel that is because there's a level of being forced or controlled moving forward, or the feeling that we're being just led into this future that we're not so sure of. The ethical override over here, so it's really all about logic versus empathy. Then it's like no one cares about what it means for the collective, what it means for people's privacy, what it means for the environment. So that it's where logic or forward thinking plans for what's coming up in the future, that logic is overriding empathy for the people, empathy for rights, empathy for the earth. But it's bringing a level of upheaval and chaos, and I think change also, because we've got this transitional change on the table as well. turbulence can represent, it's the changing times and the struggle to move forward. And now we have Neptune is wanting to gently dissolve our attachments to the past, gently dissolve our attachments to the way things were done, because I feel by looking at these cards here, I think there's going to be a whole new world, like a whole new way things are done. There's a big transitional shift or change is taking place. And outdated, dismantling outdated, unbelievable. It's exactly what's going on in the astrology as well. So this is what is taking place in the collective. And it's as above represents below as well. So we've got in the planets also on the collective field, material realm. Outdating, dismantling, obsolete systems. It's really hard to wrap your mind around this, like it's a cognitive disruption here. It's a whole shift in the way we think. It's a whole shift in the way the world's going to be. And we're moving into this in a very fast pace with this ethical override AI card, moving into this future that we don't know what it means. We don't know what all this what it's doing to the environment, but what about all the electromagnetic energy and what it's doing to our biofields? We don't really know the impacts of that for people personally and what that means. So we're moving forward into this turbulent energy because we're being forced to move forward into a future that we don't know what that outcome. And it feels to me like it's one of the biggest changes moving forward. So bigger changes than what we've seen in our lifetimes ever. And I remember we had tapes and records, and then now we have MP3s. So that was a big change, moving from cassette players and into MP3. So that was a big change that we experienced, but I feel this is an even bigger change. What's coming is even bigger than that. So it's a bigger change than we have ever seen before, and it's like we can't wrap our heads around what it all means, and that's causing a little bit of tension, a bit of turbulence in our energy, because we just don't know what's going to happen here. Tension is on the cards here, diplomatic fallout, tension, quite heavy cards on the table here for the collective energy. So I don't know if, we've got AI, so I have to say it's connected to AI, but it's as far as what's happening in the collective energy, there's a feeling of being grabbed and dragged by the forced hand. We're just moving forward into because it's sitting on top of each other, dragged, kicking and screaming into this future that we don't know what it means for our biofields. We don't know what it means for our collective energy. We don't know what it means for our environment. So, and there's a big shift or big change. There's going to be diplomatic fallout. There's going to be some kind of fallout. Now, maybe it could mean more depression for people. It could be messing with our fields where there's more depression or more illness that's coming up around that. Not to say that the change won't bring more technology is for the medical industry, because that is most likely to happen as well. But we are seeing this shift in the way we think about releasing our binds or the hold of the past, because it's going to be very different. The future that we're looking at is very different to what we've come from. And this here is this outdated dismantling of old systems really does tie in with what's happening with Neptune and Pluto. Both of them are forming an aspect to Venus, and Venus is all about love and harmony and balance, and trying to balance out the energy of this tug of war of these two outer planets. It's very heavy, wants to force in big change, although Neptune does it very gently. Pluto does it very forcefully with a lot of tension, but it feels to be it's trying to help balance and stabilize our energy as we move forward, even though it is going to be just a mind melt as to what this could possibly mean for the future. Very, very heavy collective energy, what's going on in the collective. And the more you dive into data centers and what's coming, it's more like this energy here, this fallout, this tension, this cognitive dissonance energy that's taking place in the collective. Turbulent energy, upheaval and chaos. I do feel we're in another phase. We've moved up another level of moving into this future, moving into the unknown, and it feels to be the people are just having to adapt to it, but it's not going to be easy. So it's not going to be easy to move. And I'm not saying that, because AI will bring advancements in every field and it's going to be amazing, but there's also repercussions for our energy, but also for the environment and the earth itself. So let's move on to the next stage, the protective energy. Moving into the predictions for the week ahead, we're going to see some Earth responding. So the Earth responding card can represent, and this did come up I think last week, and there was an earthquake. So this was last week, but we're getting more. So we're seeing climate reckoning, Earth response to something. Now, what is the Earth responding to? Is it responding to something going on with the sun? Is it responding to something coming in? Is it responding to data centers? Are they already active? So the Earth is responding already to something, and it's showing also the shaky ground. Fractured Earth means earthquakes. So we're going to see, I would say predictively this week, another earthquake. We did see one last week, and I'm pretty sure it was in the cards last week. It was either in the collective reading last week, or it was in the June predictions. But we do see it happening again this week. Now we see a loss card, morning final echo card, sitting below that. So this is deaths. I'm just going to be very blunt with what this is, but it could also mean that predictively we might be seeing the passing of somebody that we'll see on the media. Definitely the biggest thing I'm seeing here is the Earth responding, but we also are seeing some power moves, tactical maneuvers to exit or close doors. Now, does that mean trying to get out of the war between US and Iran? Predictably, are we seeing a closing door, an exit? What are we seeing exiting this week? An exit role. I wonder if we're seeing somebody exiting a role this week due to diplomatic fallout this week. Diplomacy stepping down. Okay, so the cards are saying, and I've got to read the meaning because I got my hand slapped for that last week, not reading what the cards say. What they're saying is that we're going to see this week either somebody exiting their role, or we're going to see a closing door, as in on something that's been going on. The doors are finally going to close. How do we exit out of Iran, for instance? Or is it a person that's exiting a role due to diplomatic fallout or tension, or is it the exiting out of Iran because of the diplomatic fallout that's going on with the war? But we do see tactical maneuvers also on the card, sitting in diagonal here to the exiting. So it's a power play. It's a tactical maneuver to exit, or somebody leaving a role is a power play, a tactical maneuver. Interesting. Maybe even forced out of that position because of the control or coercion card sitting below it. That's interesting. I can't wait to see how that plays out. But I'm also feeling that affects everybody will be to do with the Earth responding. So we'll see the Earth responding by earthquakes will be the other big thing as well. We could see the loss of somebody on TV or media, or losses due to Earth responding. Let's move on to the personal prediction. How to best navigate the energies coming up. Okay, once again, we're seeing another AI card. We're seeing synthetic mind, AI adapting to AI, but we see this perception deception. So it's not all that we're being informed that it is. There's more behind the scenes. How do you protect yourself from that? How do you protect yourself from what's coming? What we're just moving forward into the future, the turning point, which has already happened. We're at this precipice right now of this turning point into this new world, which is very much run or overtaken by, and I didn't mean for that to come out that way then, AI connection. I didn't generally mean to say that. So sometimes when you have those words come out like that, they're meant to come out that way. So what we're seeing personally, how to best navigate this energy. Now, they've told us this before with the terms and conditions. Must make sure you're reading terms and conditions. I know that's boring and I don't always do it, but it's like we're already agreeing to certain things by, even if you just install software of some type of anything, everything has, and they change them and they say, we've got new policies, we've got this, and if you want to continue using this product, you have to agree to the new terms and conditions. So I'm seeing with this, because it's connected to the AI adaptation, we've got this new energy of us having to agree to new terms and conditions. And it's saying, what can you do is don't be deceived by what's happening in terms and conditions. It's like we're agreeing to it unknowingly when we're signing these terms and conditions. I don't know if it's more than that, but it's like we are just agreeing to these things moving forward. I guess by not standing up or not, and it's very difficult when they tell us that, more data centers means more AI adaptation. It means more advanced technology in every field, which is a positive, but what are the repercussions of that? So on a personal level, we have reached a catalyst event. It's a turning point. We are right in it now. The energy is changing around us. We can feel it, especially if you're an empath or a light worker. You're definitely feeling the energy of something big changing energy around us. So we're really at this stage right now of moving into different changes. And I've got to say, I'm concerned about connection too. So it's really a good time, I think, for personal reading to really get in touch with your higher self, get in touch with your intuition, your discernment. So to be able to go straight to your higher self to bring through the answers of discernment, because I think that there's a lot of deception here, and it's having to be able to open your eyes and see the truth of things that we're being told. So we've got the perception deception, meaning not everything we're being told is truthful, or it's neglect of information. So they're not telling us certain things about what's coming in the future. We're just moving forward, being told one thing about AI, because we've got the AI card here. It's in the title position. But we see this people taking action. Interesting. Okay, now people taking action. Perhaps about data centers. May not be, but we're seeing people have to take action themselves individually, and maybe that's to do with terms and conditions. Be careful, be responsible for what you're agreeing to. Body, mind and soul, I'm hearing. So it's not just signing bits of paper. It's not just the software that we're ticking boxes to say we agree with the conditions. It's more than that. There's a bit of a soul level, and I don't want to go too deep with this channel, but we have to take action, and we have to be responsible for where we put our perception. There. We have a containment. This is population swell. I would say because it's a personal reading, it's about containment. So containment, it feels very trapped energy. So that's when I'm picking up this soul connection. It's about, and I don't want to go deeply into it, but I think it's about not being fooled, because there's a lot of energy here about spiritual entrapment. I cannot believe what's coming through here. So we have to be defensive. We have to, on a personal level, because this is personal reading, we have to have a tactical response, a defensive response, which means being aware what's really going on, being responsible for our own energy, what we're viewing, what we're consuming, and really taking accountability, taking action here. These are both taking action cards, both of them. Be tactical. Use discernment. Try and get a stronger connection so that you have that. You're not contained in whatever they're putting us in, because we don't know really what's going to happen with all of this AI. Synthetic mind. We just don't know. So, and we don't know if we're unwittingly agreeing to, changes that we really don't want. So I'm going to leave that there now. It really just means use discernment. It really means it's an eye open week again this week. So be open to what's going on in the world. We're at a turning point, catalyst event. We're at a turning point in an evolution moving forward, and you really need to keep your eyes open as to what's going on, because it affects us on a spiritual level, mind, body, soul level is what they're saying. Hope you all have a beautiful week ahead. Thank you for watching.